We're live.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's the AV community meeting, and Sam and Will and Michael are here, and my computer just blew up and then reassembled itself. And Michael and Will are having a discussion about getting involved in Agile Ventures, and Will was just posing the question: are there any other organizations like Agile Ventures? And the organization, I guess, that is most similar is possibly the one you mentioned, which is Free Code Camp.
Yeah.
There are some other organizations that kind of do like get volunteers to do stuff for charities, but not do them in teams. And yeah, I don't know. What was the question that originally came up while I was out there?
He was asking what project we were working on, or I was working on.
Yeah.
So, there's also a group called Code in the U.S. It's called Code for America, which targets like government. Basically, the idea is that people can like do projects for their local governments to try and integrate data better. In the government.
And do they have the same organization, like daily meetings? That's what I think that's what sets this apart.
I don't think they do. I think they're more like physical oriented too. I think they're like Code for America, like located, like there's subdivisions basically, like Code for America, Chicago, and they kind of get together at meetups.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So when you say you think you heard about it at Free Code Camp, can you be more specific? Was there like that was somebody mentioned it in a chat room? Or?
Yeah, I think that's what I've got in my head is that somebody mentioned it like that. I could search.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I do this, I search my history to see exactly how I found something, which I could do. I almost feel like I did do. When I joined as a user of Agile Ventures about 4 months ago. But something I didn't really consider doing then was mentioning what I'm working on.
Right.
I just thought I looked at the projects, and then I just went back to working on what I was working on, without really thinking, oh, maybe I could introduce what I'm doing, and get some help with it. Whereas, and I'm always a bit frustrated doing Free Code Camp because I feel that some of the tasks that they ask you to do are a bit arbitrary, and they're not necessarily what you need to work on with some of the projects, the non-profit projects that they do. I'd like to know more about that, what they do, and I've suggested to them that they should use old projects as pared down versions of old projects for practice for the course itself, which would I think you'd just feel more confident doing it as a learner that this is what you're going to need to be doing. What was I can't remember how I was going to link that back to what you're doing, but so that's what I love about what you're doing is that you're open to people just coming along,
right,
with whatever they do know, and it's a nice easy way. It's a way for me to learn how to do things in production as well, because short of joining a company, it's quite hard to find out how all of those systems work, and I had to have a professional workflow. And I've had interviews at companies and I've not got the jobs, so I feel like whether I'm at a disadvantage or not for not knowing those things in the first place, I don't know. But
I think there's definitely something that there's stuff that one learns on the job that it's difficult to get jobs if you don't have that thing that you get that you learn when you're on the job. So I think that's an age-old problem.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about what you're saying partly is that I haven't gone so far through Free Code Camp that I know everything about it. And so it sounds like from what you're saying, I know there's quite a long route to get to the point. I guess you have to complete quite a fair amount of stuff before you're allowed to participate in a project.
Yeah. No matter how experienced you are from doing other projects.
Right.
Yeah, they just want to see that you've done what they want you to do.
Right.
And I feel that might be an unnecessary barrier.
Well, particularly if it is, as you say, that many of the things that you might have to do are then not necessarily like actually the stuff that is needed to, operate the, to actually contribute to the project later on. I mean, that's my pet peeve with the whole of the education edifice in general.
Yeah.
Is there's so much stuff that you're asked to do that's not actually the stuff that you need to do or need to know.
No, and that's just the learner trying to be more efficient.
Right.
Isn't it? It's not them being awkward. It's just saying, give me something a bit like what I'll be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think that the challenge, the converse challenge that we have partly is that the free code camp people are, and other people are much better marketers and promoters than we are.
Well, just about. I mean, it took me maybe 1 or 2 years of coding before I found them. So, don't feel.
Okay, so that makes me feel better. I mean, we're working on it. We've got, now we're an official charity. We have these Google AdWords campaigns and things going on. And yeah, it takes time for people to find out about stuff. That's sort of normal. What was I going to say? But I mean, the interesting thing is what I don't really have in my mind is a good model of how successful Free Code Camp actually is in terms of how many people they've got actually getting to that stage of working on charity projects. But my sense is that they have certainly had quite an active community. They do have a sort of, my sense is that we've got more active recently, so I don't know how we compare with them or vice versa, to be honest. But I think the thing that we struggle from is we're further in this stream of like the lack of structure. And I think probably we would, I don't know, it's all, hypothesis testing. Or
I see. Right. Because
we'd do better if there was slightly more structure that kind of guided people in and got them to the point of making their first pull requests. I think a lot of people maybe put off because
but maybe,
I have no idea what to do.
Yeah.
Go on.
But maybe only because you're saying that you don't really know how much of an impact Free Code Camp's having with that structure. So it's difficult for you to judge if you're just going off of what Free Code Camp is, whether you should have more structure or not.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Absolutely. And it's kind of, I mean, there's all sorts of different things that we could be putting our energy into improving. I mean, it's I mean, what would be nice would be that there would be like, if we could clearly identify one thing that if we did, that would be like a major improvement.
Yeah. What's your bottleneck?
That is actually the bottleneck, but it's not. Well, that's it. No, you can. I blog about it daily. It's the ongoing conundrum. But Sigu is also here. Hey, Sigu, how are you doing?
Guys, I'm okay.
All right, good to have you.
Joining late. I was trying to make supper.
Hey, no problem at all. No problem at all. And I know you had power out today, and it's all good. All welcome at any time. We kind of just like, also I've muddied the water about the meeting start time. I kind of pulled it 15 minutes earlier in the events thing, and I think Joao, it was previously like that's actually starting about this time. When I just started this, my computer died, and Michael and Will were chatting, and then I came back in, and I was like, "Oh, that's an interesting conversation. Let's get it on record." So we're kind of just all, woo. Say again, Michael.
I said I put a hypothesis in the data mining channel about what's going on.
Did you? Yes. So that's the thing going on in the background. Yes. I think the computers are taking over. So let us come to. So this is the AV community meeting where, highly unstructured as it continues to be. What I usually do at the beginning is just say, is there anything that anybody wants to bring up today that's particularly on their minds about any aspect of Agile Ventures or anything at all?
I think I'm interested in how people can find out about Agile Ventures. That's interesting to me.
Ah,
yeah,
cool.
because I know, and I've I've seen plenty of people asking, how do I get help with my open source projects?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've seen people stand up in Nuts.js and ask that question. And it's a tough thing when you have a project and you don't know where to start.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. I think particularly if you're not sure where in your network or who in your network would know how to answer that question, or where to go for advice and so on.
Yeah,
absolutely. Oh, and hey, and Joao is here. Hey, Joao.
Hello.
Good to see you. And then Joao, if you know Will, Joao.
Hi.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Will, Joao he's the project manager for MetPlus. He's involved in the Open Peer projects, and he works for Pivotal in New York and has been with us for a long time. Joao, Will just has been a member about 4 months. He's just started a new project called Y, which is about Ethereum and donations, and it's kind of cool, and I'm enjoying. And yeah, there you go. We are just doing the thing where we talk about what we'd like to talk about in the meeting. And Will was just mentioning, it's like how people find out about Agile Ventures, which is also a topic near and dear to my heart. So we can certainly have some discussion of that. Does anybody else have, Joao, did you have anything that you wanted to particularly talk about today?
Yeah, yes, let's talk about this meeting.
Yes, so talking about AV community meetings.
Yeah.
Yep, and there was some talk in the Mentors channel about that. Sigu and Michael, did you have anything particular that you wanted to discuss?
Oh, I think that's very meta talking about the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to add that my personal agenda is to get more people in AV interested in data mining and AI and machine learning. So I'm not sure
how to do that.
Not sure how many people seem to care.
I have a friend who might be interested in machine learning. I'll leave it to him to describe what he's doing. I'd also be interested in that too, if you think that you can work together.
Okay. So a lot of people.
Yeah, we do have a data mining channel that you're more than welcome to join.
A lot of people seem interested in React and all these frameworks, but not machine learning. Nobody's saying, let's get TensorFlow working. Just anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a good. Well, although I mean, I hear people talking about there's kind of like an AI boom going on now, and lots of jobs and high-paying jobs in AI and machine learning. So maybe the people who think they're going to get good, well-paid jobs in React and Elixir are confused. Cool. Well, that's a number of points. Sigurd, did you have anything that you wanted to add to the agenda?
For the agenda, Will is talking about how to find people.
Yeah.
My biggest concern is how to maintain them.
Okay.
Yeah. How do you keep them around? How do you keep them at least doing something
to keep
on Agile Ventures?
People around in Agile Ventures. Good. Okay. Excellent.
The other thing is not really an agenda. I just missed Joao. I don't know where he's been.
Well, he's been here the last 2 weeks, regular as clockwork in the. I think he was on a holiday and stuff. He's come to these AP community meetings, and you get to see him.
Nice. Okay.
That's how we keep you here. Good stuff. Well, just let's go with. Should we just start?
Oh,
sorry again.
I was just gonna say that I'm gonna nominate Joao to the trustees board when we have the meeting.
Oh, okay.
Whether he wants it or not.
Okay. Well, these things.
Okay.
We do have a new. I guess that's also there's a final one of news. We do have we have an opportunities page now in Agile Ventures which I will just draw people's attention to, that includes links to adverts for our vacant positions of we are looking for more trustees for the charity. We are also looking for marketing and developer interns and other sorts of volunteer people to help us with things. So do check that out if you haven't already. We do have, I think, Will, if you're in, we've got an AV community talk channel that you may or not be in, where we kind of coordinate this meeting. Yeah, and I've just invited you to it.
Thank you.
And that's the place where I put the link for this page. But that's easily my quick agenda item there out of the way. Let's jump back to how people find out about Agile Ventures. We were having this discussion with Will before. Will found out about it, sort of hearing about it in, I think, maybe in a chat room.
Definitely in a chat room.
Chat room through Free Code. And we had Aresh, who was a guy who did this, sort of created the base version of the async voter / command for us. Was, I think, came from Free Code Camp and was mentioning it to people in chat rooms, encouraging people. So yeah, but I guess your question here is, well, I could certainly talk to other ways that people find Agile Ventures to let you know what they are, but are you maybe asking how can we make it easier for people to find Agile Ventures? Will?
Right, so I've got my browser history and I was on the coding jobs room on Free Code Camp's Skitter.
Okay.
So that's what I was looking at. I was looking at jobs.
Okay.
And there were, and I guess somebody mentioned, I mean, I could actually click that and find out what the actual conversation was.
Yeah. Well, that would be lovely. There's no rush to get that per se. I guess I was the key thing right now was, were you interested, like in bringing up this as an agenda item, were you interested to hear from us all the different ways that we know people have found out about Agile Ventures, or are you hoping that we'll brainstorm ways to make it easier to find Agile Ventures?
The latter, I think.
Yeah.
I'm just mentioning the jobs thing because, I mean, it depends. So yeah, in terms of marketing, the benefit of it is that it gives you the experience of a professional workflow without. So that, I mean, that's probably the most. That's one of the most attractive things about Agile Ventures. And I guess that's what I was looking for when I was looking in the jobs channel.
Right. Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, just as you've been talking, I mean, that's a wonderful quote, which I hope we can use. I think if you were willing to blog about your experience with Agile Ventures, we would certainly promote that and get that out there. I think that's often people's testimonials make a big difference. I've put a few other ways that we get people in, but yeah, do people have ideas about how we can make Agile Ventures easier to find?
Yeah, there's stickers.
We do have stickers. I'm going to be
allowed to put a sticker on his computer.
We do have stickers. We have new stickers.
We'll see it.
I'll be sending out the stickers. If people need stickers, send me your mailing address. I'll get you stickers. Go on, Will.
With the sticker, does it say? Can you read Agile Ventures from across the room?
Well, on this smaller one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a bigger one on the back of my laptop, and I'll get another set of the bigger ones. And I think there's clearly more stickers that we can do. And then it says hashtag Code for Good there. Yeah. So clearly, we want to get these strategically placed on people's foreheads around the world. We'll work on that. More stickers. Any other ideas about? I mean, I guess not just about how to help people find out about Agile Ventures, but how to make it clearer what we're offering.
The swag.
Yep.
Like plush animals.
Capybaras with it, yeah.
Plush capybaras, but with like a T-shirt that says "Agile Ventures help me."
Yeah. And like we could have a T-shirt which says, Will White says AV gives the benefit of a professional workflow experience. T-shirts with testimonials.
Yeah, and then people could put it like on their desk at work or something.
Yeah. I mean,
people would be like, oh, what is that?
But I guess the interesting thing you mentioned before there, Will, is that like meetups, and so you were talking about like Knots.js. Like presumably, if someone gave a presentation at Knots.js about Agile Ventures, then more people in Knots.js would know that it was an option for them.
Yeah, I imagine that a lot of I don't know how many of you guys have got full-time jobs, but I think most of the guys who go there have full-time jobs. But that's not to mean that it wouldn't. What I was thinking was that something like that quote about the professional workflow would be, in terms of targeting where that kind of message pops up on a jobs website. I'm just thinking, because if I was looking in a jobs forum on Gitter, then it's the kind of thing that you want to see if you're looking for a job.
Mm-hmm.
It's the kind of thing you'd want to see on a jobs website, isn't it? Wow, okay, I don't have experience to get any of these jobs, but here's something where I could get some experience.
Right. Well, that's interesting. That relates to the opportunities thing. I mean, so I've actually posted. I mean, they're volunteer ones, but like, so we have now like this volunteer junior developer is posted on like Do It, and so yeah, like we've got like these skills like we could highlight those things, but yeah, I guess in principle we could be posting these opportunities on like not just volunteering sites, but other
Indeed.
Jobs.
I'm just thinking of a banner ad on Indeed is what I'm really thinking about.
Yeah, cool, great idea.
Like, I think the best way, because we needed some sort of a balance of people. We don't need only people that are new. We also need people with experience. But that's where I think like meetups and eventually, who knows, crazy idea, we could do like a worldwide hackathon, something like that. That might help push the image of Agile Ventures. And really, like the majority of people that I know here came here through the book, right?
Okay.
So I don't know. It's challenging. It's challenging to find ways to get more people to join. I don't know. That's something that I thought about, and I think like if we somehow could get more people in conferences of different things, so on, to talk about Agile Ventures or just to be there, like with stickers and things like that. That might be a way to call people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like get Sam to go to RailsCon.
I did apply to speak there last year and they turned me down, but yeah.
Okay. About the meetups.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Mike. Yeah, about the meetups. For the meetup that we had, the Nairobi meetup, Nairobi meetup for Nairobi, I talked about our experience, the issue we had with RSpec and how it was not working and how we finally managed to solve it. So I had the chance of talking about mob sessions. I had the chance of talking about Agile Venture. Then at the same time, I blogged about that particular thing, and I mentioned Agile Venture. So blogs can also be nice ways of getting their technical blogs or just stories about, like a weekly story of what I've been doing during this week on Agile Ventures. What have I really learned?
Do you guys think we can get some of these nice bloggers and stuff that you are always sharing, Sam, to interview Agile Ventures?
You saying get some of the bloggers to interview Agile Ventures?
Like the majority of the. I'm not really like the blog. Like you sometimes you share things from soft skills and stuff like that. To have like an introduction to the world, let's call it.
Right.
By someone like that have like a huge market already.
Right.
Maybe that would be interesting.
Yeah,
I should like could showcase how Agile Ventures, how this works and things like that.
Yeah,
do you think that's something that's possible?
I think
to get like personally, I don't know anyone, so I don't. That's why I'm asking.
I think it's a great idea. I mean, I have managed to appear on. I had two. I was on Ruby Rogues twice, and we definitely had people come to it. We got the Wiki EDU dashboard project through that, and we definitely got a number of members signing up through that. There are other podcasts I would love to go on, and I've got myself and Federico, like we have the marketing thing. We're trying to like get me on other podcasts, so that's kind of ongoing. I mean, with varying degrees of success. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely, to the extent that we can connect with well-known people who would be in a position to promote and say, yeah, this actually Agile Ventures is a good thing. Absolutely, I totally agree. And yeah, if you can, as you don't know if it was, any introductions. I mean, I think also rather than me myself going and saying, please let me be on your podcast, I think if like a lot of podcasts and blogs and so on, they have suggestion boxes where you say, like, hey, you should interview so and so. So if you guys like, if there's a podcast that you'd like to hear me interviewed on, then please, say to them, hey, you should talk to some guys from Agile Ventures and put them in touch. So
I think
go on.
I don't understand why you haven't been on Greater Than Code already.
I think because I'm probably not diverse enough there. I mean, I need to work on that. I don't know, maybe if my beard was longer.
The fact that you're a white man, or is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, and rightly so. I think white men should be held back whenever possible, because there's just like, I mean, particularly for listening to Greater Than Code, there's such awful stuff that happens to people of color and different gender and different sexual orientation and so on, that I think their voices need to be promoted. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they had a free week the other week, and I did like start talking to them about, and I told them all about Agile Ventures, and they chose not to go with me, and they went with somebody talking about like coding efforts to help, the hurricanes situation, which is like totally topical and totally understandable. So I'm hoping I'm kind of there and in their list somewhere, and maybe another 20 or 100 or 500 episodes down the road, they might chat to me. So
what about that Myanmar project? Is that like dead?
I haven't heard from the guy. I mean, the situation in that region has got worse, and I've reached out a couple of times to say anything we can do to help at all, and I just haven't heard back from him. So I hope he's okay. I mean, I think they're having a really rough time in that part of the world. Yeah,
I heard on the news that they are.
Yeah. No, I think it's really bad. So I mean, I think that they may be just like totally scrambling. Yeah.
But I was thinking, if we had something there, you could promote that to.
Yeah. No, I think
Greater Than Code and be like, I'm helping people Myanmar.
Yeah. I mean, I think we already have, like things like the Ulster project, which was helping Syrian orphans, and we're trying to help. The Met Plus one. I mean, I was invited to speak at a Detroit boot camp. I think partly because they knew about the Met Plus thing, and I do get invited to speak occasionally. And this next month, there's a series of digital charity meetups in London that I'm going to be attending and speaking at. So, but yeah, if you've got any ideas for ways to promote things, I'm definitely, we've got a good bunch of them here. What I think is starting to happen recently is we're getting more projects in, more projects are staying active, and I think as the numbers go up and the number of projects, then it kind of feeding into how we keep people around, it makes the whole environment more sticky. I mean, it was lovely this morning, we had this scrum, and I was talking about some of the stuff that Brent and I were doing related to the charity database, and it just he always came in for his project, but then he knew somebody who'd done some work with that, and we sort of heard about that. And as the numbers of people goes up, the number of projects, it kind of, it makes it more attractive and it makes it more sticky. But yeah, anyway, should we move on from this first item. There's lots of food for thought there. Does anybody else want to say anything more? Maybe you pass it back to Will. It was your question originally. Any final closing thoughts on this section?
No closing thoughts.
All right. So I'll take that as ready to move on. So Sigu, yeah, you wanted to raise, like, how do we keep people around in AV? To tell us more about what your concerns are and your thoughts on this are.
Yeah, I just discovered that I can see the analytics for Slack. I don't have to be an admin. Analytics for Slack instances. Yeah, so I was looking at messages posted, and majorly those who are posting, they're those who I kind of know them because we've been talking. And not so many people out of the 2,300 people that we have are active.
No. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, so I have a couple of friends also who started working, and they kind of stopped. I don't know why. I have some other friends who have not started, and they're even afraid to go in for scrums.
Right.
Yeah. I try to make it sound like it's nothing. It's just a chat that people are having, just to encourage them to attend. And this actually happened this week. So I am imagining that most people might be joining the Slack, and they don't know what to do next. And if they know what to do next, they don't know how to get past that particular point.
Yeah. I know that listen in was the two words that I saw earlier in this week. That I came back to Agile Ventures after 4 months after registering, and being able, like, seeing that I could just listen in. That first scrum, I didn't really have any intention of talking about what I was doing, but I was happy to just listen in and just see how things worked. So I think that listen in, for which you can't see when you're logged in, actually, which I think I was, because it remembered my login from before. So it was only by chance that I was in another browser, that I saw listen in. So so listen in, I think, is an important point.
Good point, Will. Yeah, Sigu, great points. Anything further?
Yeah, some other thing, some friends ask me, so which kind of projects do you work with on Agile Ventures? And which stack do they use? And I'm like, okay, we have Ruby on Rails, we have JavaScript, and we have Java, referring to what Java did on MetPlus. Then I get stuck there.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe I'm not informed enough about the different type of projects that people might be interested in. I just had Michael talk about data mining. Yeah, and people might be interested in data mining, and they do not want to do Elixir, they do not want to do Ruby.
Right.
So that's diversity of languages and what happens at Agile Ventures other than web.
Yeah.
And I think I also realized that you do not have any React production website.
Well, we did, like, the Wikimedia
the Wiki
EDU is React it's Rails and React. So actually, I mean, it's frustrating that the site itself does not display this so well, but that we've got kind of a relatively updated list that goes into the new members. If we could display this consistently, sort of shows the range of things that we have. I guess what I could also be doing here, can I edit this from there? Yeah. I could I can add the data mining.
Python and R.
Yeah. Like so. I mean, I think we need to get better at, displaying in more places the different things. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of Rails and JavaScript. But we do have projects with front ends of Ember, Angular, React. Elixir Phoenix, I guess, is going to become Elixir React. So,
although downtown St. Charles is kind of not that active, right?
No, it's true.
Maybe it should
be removed from that. Yeah, I mean, I mean, we do have these the Node. I mean, there are other things like DDA palette enclosure. I think is also not that active. I think, yeah, to the extent that we can further diversify and have like PHP projects and Haskell projects and everything is going to be to our advantage in the long run.
I mean, I can do that for us.
Sure. Cool.
I'm saying I can whip up mini projects, enclosure or whatever.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's an interesting question there about whether we should be having, like, going to the effort to set up and maintain curriculum of practice projects in different languages, or if we, are trying to grow by pulling in real projects with real customers, which was always my, my pet thing there. Let's just go on.
If we have microservices, right? Like, I could whip up something in the weekend and then you could just deploy it.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, that's where we're going with the async voter.
Now we have,
like potentially like a little microservices array, and then different things could be done in Go and so on. But yeah, but so
I think the key though is finding the specific problem where that language or technology really makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, and just like Sam has mentioned, let's say you have something in Go, you might get someone who's interested in Go. They'll have a look at the simple things that that Michael maybe spun up over the weekend, and they might add on to the ideas, like what we had for the async voter, how it started. I know you didn't know it will get to that point. But as more people got interested into that, it got better, and now we can even click on the votes rather than sending it in the DMs.
Yeah. You need to start little things in order to build them up. Now I have various thoughts on what Sigu was saying and all these things. Thank you so much for sharing it, Sigu. But then I'm always talking. João, did you have any thoughts on any of this?
Yeah, like I think. One of the points that Sigu made was the fact that people don't know what to do next, and I think that's like the most troubling one, and I think that's the one that we really need to address, like, more immediately, because if we have a lot of people signing in, they do not continue, or they do not are here because they don't know what to do or where to go or what. I don't know. That's something that I think we need to look into, definitely, and try to follow up with these people. Like, generally, it's gonna be hard, but if we know people that signed in and didn't show up again, try to engage them and see. So what happened? Why are you not? What happened? Is this live, or maybe you don't know what to do, or something like that? I think we should do something about that.
Okay, sorry about that. You've just talked about that, and I remembered I personally had a problem on what to do next on local support, and I'm always around. So can we have our issues with clearly labeled tags that someone can directly go to? Like, if that issue is for a beginner, a low-hanging fruit, let's have like terms that we can easily refer. So if someone is a beginner, let's tell them that on the Pivotal tracker, you can look for a low-hanging fruit. Let's start from there. Okay. Then after finishing one low-hanging fruit, it's easier for them to look for the next hanging fruit. Yeah. And once they're confident enough, they'll look for, let's say, a higher fruit. I don't know the next term. So yeah, they look for the intermediate one. Then after that, once they get more comfortable, then they do not really have to look for the low-hanging fruit. yeah, it becomes a bit frustrating and intimidating for to look through.
Yes.
I get what you're saying, but like the idea is also that maybe this is a problem, but this whole community requires people to talk and to, I'm not saying like talk like we are doing now, but talking in chat and saying, oh, I don't know what to do next, or I would like to do something else. And like if that's a barrier for them, it's one thing. The other thing is like, yes, we can reword our stories and we can try to label them in different ways to make it more easy. But the idea behind Agile Ventures itself, it's more a community, right? And I think sometimes that's what I feel we're missing here. That also like just jumps ahead to my next point. Yeah, that's what I feel.
Yeah, go on, Michael.
I think that's true to a certain extent because people are. I think a lot of people are coming in and they're maybe expecting like some kind of on the rails experience, like it's like Disneyland or something, and you just come through and see, Exhibit A, rather than like an organic experience. But the organic experience is probably more valuable anyway because that's kind of like real, closer to like what people do like in jobs. They don't just have like someone there to hold their hand all the time.
Yeah, that's gone.
That's why the listen in thing I thought was attractive, because it's just like it's the end of the rails in that analogy. I don't know if I was clear before about why I thought listen in was a nice, it made me feel like I could just observe and not have to, it was just read only essentially. And if that's made comfortable for people, then I think that's a really nice way in for people who you want to find out why they haven't made a contribution, because you can start talking to them and you can find out the exact reason why. You can get more information basically when they're face to face on a chat than trying to chase them or like answer surveys or anything.
Right.
Okay. Just something about what Zhao and Michael have said. From what I've understood, it's like we're addressing two groups of people. My suggestion of the low-hanging fruit was for someone who has no idea at all. They expect someone to at least show them how to start doing things because they've never done it in their life. It's different from someone who at least has done some coding and is coming at the experienced people, let's say. So for the experienced ones, they do not need that. But for someone who's from FreeCodeCamp, for example, they've never been in a group of people who are working on real life scenarios. So there's that intimidation and feeling of inferiority. So we need to break that. Yeah. I'm trying to like put myself into their shoes and how they feel like.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I remember when Sam was like before Agile Ventures existed, and it was just kind of like local support or whatever. I think Sam was saying that I was confident or whatever, whereas a lot of people, I guess, weren't.
Yeah, I think that
it sounds like that's kind of the theme, that people aren't necessarily, like, there's differing confidence levels.
I think there's very, very different confidence levels, yes.
Yeah.
Some people will be confident enough to just kind of come in and deal with the organic community if that's their interest, whereas other people will be completely intimidated.
Yeah. This is great stuff, and I think we could sort of carry on chatting. I guess I want to maybe just close on this so we can touch on Joao's point, because I'm going to have to go fairly soon, although there's no reason you guys couldn't continue without me afterwards. I think the intimidation factor is very, very big one for some people, as Sigu is saying. I'll just mention to you there, and actually for everyone, one of the things I have been doing is gradually evolving the getting started pages. So I've broken up what was originally a very long page so that it now has like a series of steps. I think that the current steps are kind of like not very good at the moment in terms of like shepherding people through that process. Like, I think there's a lot of room for improvement here. These are all editable by you guys as well. I would love your input and help and support on improving the getting started pages, even one just like cosmetic edits. I think there's also a thing of like, to connect with what Sigu is saying, you know, we could have a dynamic system where people are like saying, I'm interested in this tech and this tech. And then it said like, oh, we'll try this project. And then it popped up and it said, well, okay, so the things that you need to do on this first project is look for tickets with beginner friendly and choose one of these, and the meeting is at this time. Like, if there was like a little bit of structure, a little bit of rails, you know, at the beginning, it could be very helpful. But yeah, so I'm kind of, I'm always thinking about these sorts of things, and I think there's a lot of room for improvement here. So yeah, I would love to take some of these ideas and translate that into, you know, changes. We could like the listen in thing. Yeah, maybe we should have that all the time. And I just updated this week, I don't know if you noticed, so that now all of the things say on the thing like here, they all say, all welcome, discuss any project, ask any question in the Slack. Yeah. And I think we can, I think it's funny for us because we're all doing it all the time. We're coming into Hangouts, whatever. I think for a lot of people, it's very intimidating that first time to come into a Hangout with a group of people that you don't know, and it's like on air and all this, that, and the other. So yeah, I'm like all ears for this stuff.
We could potentially spin up something in that vein over the weekend, like directly in Rails.
Sure. I mean, go for it. Go for it.
Like just pull React in.
Yeah.
Gems for Rails, even on Rails 4.3 where we're stuck for whatever reason, there's gems to like do.
Yeah. React. Sure. Well, show me what you've got on Monday. What I'm going to attempt to do there is let's just bring us on and spend a little bit of time on this last item. I'll share all of these things in the chat afterwards, obviously. Joao, do you just want to tell us, your thoughts on the AV community meeting?
Yeah, I have less than 1 minute now.
Me too, but sorry.
So like, I'm a little bit sad. Let's say it's sad. Not like disappointed is too far away, but like I'm a little bit sad. I tried to reach the mentors this week to try to get some feedback on this meeting, like to try to understand people, if the people were interested in this meeting, if they had something to add, what was missing, why we're not why they didn't come to this meeting, things like that. And like I only had just one feedback from Ashley, and that made me a little bit sad. And I'm thinking like, does this meeting make sense? And if so, how can we change it in order to have more people here? Because if this is a community meeting and the community is the people that are here, we are 2,000. Right? So I don't know. I'd like to make this more like appealing some ways, create some sort of forum where people could discuss, and there are things that we need to discuss and need help from other people. Like Sigu said, some people that joined but then didn't move forward, and we need people that know people that are in AV, so that we can spread the word and we can talk to them saying, why, what can we change to make your experience here better? If people don't come to here, if we don't get feedback from them, it's pretty hard for us to evolve AV into something that they want to be in, they enjoy to work on. So that's like, I thought like, when we talked last week, I thought, let's go talk to the mentors, because maybe the mentors that are more invested in this they are interested in doing something and have more feedback, but even their answer was like very small. And I was like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I think the interesting thing is that the mentors channel has always been like I'm often trying to start discussions in there, and it doesn't really seem to go anywhere particularly. I mean, I think like we've got 16 members in the mentors channel, including 4 of us here, and I don't know what it. I mean, a lot of the people in the mentors channel are working full time and are very busy, and I think that they're kind of, you know, the mentoring that they're doing in Agile Ventures is often very specific to the project that they're in, and there isn't kind of much of a sense of community amongst the mentors. I've had constructive criticism before from the mentors about it's like they're not sure what being a mentor is in Agile Ventures or what that involves, and to a certain extent we have within the mentors group a microcosm of the bigger problem, you know, potentially within Agile Ventures, of people not being clear what to do, what goes on. But yeah, I definitely take your concern here. I think it's good that we did have we've got the suggestion from Ashley that she's saying that if there was, you know, if there was an agenda for this meeting, then that might be more likely for her to come. We can certainly, I think there are other areas that we can go out to and ask people about the AV community meeting. Do we have, just as we wrap up, does anybody have any particular ideas about how this meeting could change? Other things that we should be doing? Should we be having a text meeting or?
I think I'll support Ashley on that because, okay. Even if it means we ourselves, we come up with the agenda prior to the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so agendas make someone know what they're going to talk about. It makes them, if it's something that interests them, then they'll be prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll know that today we're going to discuss why people feel intimidated
mm-hmm.
at Agile Ventures and how we can retain them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So instead of coming up with the agenda on the fly, we can come up with the agenda before the meeting.
Oh,
sorry guys, I absolutely. I'll follow up on. Well, let's and then we'll talk. I'll talk to you guys in the chat.
Yeah, okay? Well, then let's try and talk like that. Let's talk in the AV community talk channel, Joao, and we'll work out a plan for next week.
Okay, looks good.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Joao. Nice
cheers, man.
Bye for now.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
Yeah, so I've got to go soon too. That's great feedback, Sigu. You're saying the agenda could really help. Will, Michael, any thoughts on this topic?
No. But I do say that today we had pretty decent attendance in terms of how many people we tend to get in Hangouts. 5's not that bad for a late Friday meeting. Although I think last week was only 3.
Yeah, that was you, me, and Joao last week. Yeah, so.
Who basically had been the only ones attending for like a couple.
We had OJ Danya the week before that, and the previous 2 weeks we didn't have Joao, and then it goes back. Yeah, variation, but this week was good. And we also, I think, we had a series of meaty topics as well. Thank you so much for Will and Sigu for providing the 2 key ones there.
We didn't get to my topic.
We didn't get you, although I think we did. Will said he has a friend, and we alerted Sigu to the idea that data mining is something that's going on, and we added you to the list. We could hit this again. I was just going to say, Will, any thoughts? I think it's the first time you've attended this meeting. Can we do better to let people know about it? How could we make the meeting more attractive or useful?
I don't know. I came because it's the first one that that's come up whilst I've joined.
Yeah.
So it's like I always try and come to the first of everything, right? When you join something new, to see what's going on.
Yeah, so you're listening in.
Yeah. But I think, I mean, yeah, it's a function of how excited I am about what I'm working on. That's me here, and how much AV is helping to get that done. So yeah, I guess, yeah. So I've set up Osama and I are going to be. Osama wants to be part of the project, and so I hope that means that I'll be coming back to these meetings, because I've got contributors now, basically, and it feels like I'm becoming. I can become part of the community. But in terms of, yeah, having an agenda would be good for future meetings, I think, because especially if it's things that we can put on the agenda as they come up in the week, and we think, oh yeah, that would be good for a community meeting.
Sure. All right. Excellent. Well, I think we've got a fairly clear, like with Ashley and Sigurd and Will all saying an agenda would be good. We can try and have an agenda for next week. Yeah, well, let's end then. Michael, was there anything else you wanted to say about this topic?
No. Nope.
All right. Was there anything anybody else wanted to say about Michael's topic?
Yeah, I wanted to add something on that. So actually, I think we've talked a bit about it. You've just moved, so I'm lost.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just getting like a link for my notes. Sorry, here it is. Yep. Go on.
Right. Get more AV interested in data mining. So we've technically discussed this while you are talking about how you can orient people into agile ventures. But something we've not addressed on this is those who are already there. How can we let them know that data mining is present?
Right.
So should you post it on the general? Because I don't think many people read the general unless it's a Scrum.
There are a fair amount of people in the channel, but I think they never post, essentially.
Yeah, and it's kind of, I think people can, we have a general thing, and we have this at all scales of like, people can show an interest in something, but then like becoming active in it is like another step up.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, I mean, this was the feedback that we had from OJ 2 weeks ago, and I think we get the same from Will this week, is I think the more that we can make the language around Agile Ventures friendly to say, listen in, just check it out. There's no commitment here, and we can sort of lure people into the hangout.
Fly on the wall.
Right. You're just fly on the wall. You're just watching it. So there's no commitment here. It's totally cool. And then, then we can sort of get them, we can pull them further in with our charm, and they can get all the wonderful value and things that we have in an organic. We're very organic here. Yeah. Good
Yeah, I think
organic coding community.
Organic coding community. All right. Organic driven development. Sorry, Will, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I think that contact with the people in the community is good, because you don't have to build. It's really hard to design a system that's easy for people to use up front, isn't it? It's easier to listen to somebody, to find out what they don't understand, and then and try and answer those questions in real time. And then over time, you pick up the patterns about what people are stuck on. That's much easier than trying to design something that's easy to use without. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
I couldn't finish my sentence. Yeah.
No problem at all. It's getting late for you and I. I mean, Michael, it's early, it's still early. It's lunchtime, whatever. For you and I and Sigu, it's getting quite late. So, real. Yeah, I think so. Well, I think we've got lots of food for thought there. I guess I will take the notes from that, and So I mean, maybe what we, I guess the thing to do is a bit like what we did revise the web. Some of the other meetings is that we try and post up like the tickets that we were going to talk about. I guess what's the word? Yeah. So let's try and during the week, next week, we'll mention things that could be going on the AV community talk agenda, and maybe by Thursday, because of time zone and things, maybe by end of Thursday we can set what the agenda should be and publicize that so people know the next day there's going to be a meeting and this is going to be the agenda.
Yeah.
So action items.
That'll be the day before.
Although, is there room for an agendaless meeting? Is that I don't know if having an agenda on this meeting means that there's no meetings with agendas, and that's with no agendas, and that's something that's nice to have as well.
It is, yeah. I mean, this was a meeting we had with no agenda. We went one on the fly, and I'm a big fan. But I think you know, we've got a suggestion. Let's try one with an agenda, and we'll see how we go. And we like that, and it's agile. We try it for a bit, and we're not beholden to stick with it indefinitely. We adjust, experiment, and then reflect. So
yeah, I was before we had started the meeting, I had suggested to Sam that there is a hybrid model where you annotate a certain amount of time, 15, 20 minutes of the meeting for open floor discussion of whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Protected time. Yeah.
Yeah, which is, we can certainly experiment with different mixtures of this, that, and the other. Cool. All right, well, I better go. Feel free to carry on chatting. I'll just leave it running, and I hope you all have a great weekend, and catch some of you on Monday.
Cool. Bye.
So Sam, just before you go, I guess you won't be able to resolve that issue with the box today, or?
I don't know. I've got supper right now, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I mean, it may involve having to create a new box from scratch. You also know how to create a new box from scratch yourself, which you could do and give yourself access to it if you really were desperate to make progress. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I gotta run. Bye for now.
Bye.
Okay. I don't think I'll stick around too. I'm hungry.
Okay.
Or anything that you had, Michael, for us?
Further? What do you mean? Nothing really.
Oh, nothing really.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I don't know if this Hangout will stop recording if everyone quits.
We'll find out on.
So, are you interested in data mining or no?
Currently, not really.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I might peep in to see what it is, because this is how I got into Elixir. I didn't know what it is. I was not interested. I peeped in, and right now it's what I'm doing. So I'll be peeping in and knowing exactly what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've never even done Python ever.
Right. It's about so we use Python and R, and it's kind of like right now the major thing that we're doing is trying to predict who in the community may be likely to sign up for premium services, so that we can try and target them with offers.
Wow. Okay, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, so
I'm actually already on that channel, so, and that sounds interesting. So in this group of people, you're trying to study some behavior or something and know who is most likely to be a premium member.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea. Is we look at, say, the last 3 weeks of activity and try to predict who's the most likely to sign up.
I think that has just sold me into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so I'll look into this for anything that I need to do to get started.
Not really. If you just talk in the channel, if you wanted to ask questions. Let me actually show you. So we do have two potential. So we do have repos right now. Let me just show you where you go. I'll post the repos here. To a certain extent, they're kind of messy because it's just been Sam and I. And this is like, this one here is like extremely, this is new, like it's only been around a couple days. The second one that I posted. Do you see the links in the channel?
Yeah, just looking through. Yeah, the automated premium model.
That second one is very, very new. So
it's purely R.
It's right now, the first one, community maintenance support, is basically the repo with the models where we're trying to predict who's going to sign up. Mm-hmm. Now there's like additional data basically that we don't, that's not in the repo. If you read the README, you could ask for that data, and I'll ask Sam whether, like, what he's willing to share.
Okay.
Because some of it's like people's payment information and stuff. So.
Oh, all right.
So we don't just put like all that stuff up on GitHub for obvious reasons, but it's all kind of documented who, you know, what you would need to do. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, yeah. So if you can see how far you can get with that, if you were interested in running that, it's a bit of a mess right now.
Yeah, I'll try have a look at it. Only that I'll try avoid a new language like Python. I don't know how much of Python is needed.
So in this world, Python and R are